My pleasure to welcome to the program for the first time. He's the new rodeo coach at the University of Wyoming. Beau Clark is with me this morning. And, Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good.
Hey, I greatly appreciate the time this morning. First of all, welcome to Laramie. I guess I know you've been coaching at the collegiate level here nearby, but I guess first of all, how has the transition been going from where you were to coming here to the University of Wyoming and all kind of the history and tradition that the University of Wyoming rodeo program has?
Yeah, it's been really exciting to be at the University of Wyoming, and we love Laramie and excited to be Wyoming Cowboys. The students that were already here that we've been able to work with this fall, they've been great, and they're having some success, so things are really good.
Yeah, obviously gotten off to a good start here in the fall season. I want to get to that more in just a moment, but for folks who are maybe a little unfamiliar, what's kind of your background, Coach?
I'm from Montana. I grew up in Bozeman, Montana, and actually played football in college at Montana State. We rodeoed kind of when we were younger and did the sports in high school and college, and then after that started rodeoing again. Rodeoed professionally for a few years, and in 2014, somewhere in there, started helping coach the rodeo team at Montana State. Really enjoyed it, so looked for an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere, and that opportunity came in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Mm-hmm. So we were at Cheyenne for 2 years, and then came to the University of Wyoming, so we're excited to be here.
What kind of prompted your interest to move from LCCC to UW, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I think just it is a storied program that has a lot of great tradition, and the opportunity to work with students for 4 years instead of just 2 years and then trying to send them to the University of Wyoming or a 4-year college where you have them for 2 and help them, and then really when they're about to take off, you're sending them to someone else. So, that's kind of why we wanted to come here.
Yeah, certainly, and we welcome you into the community. Things are off to a good start in the fall season, and like I said, we'll get to that in just a moment. Give me your perspective on trying to recruit rodeo student athletes. Now that you're at a 4-year college, obviously maybe a little bit different because you don't get them for just the 2 years, as you said. But how would you kind of characterize recruiting when it comes to rodeo at the collegiate level?
Yeah, I think right now we're recruiting and talking to a lot of kids. Some of them are from the junior colleges around Wyoming, and some are high school kids. And I think the biggest thing right now is we got to find people that will fit in with the ones that we have on campus and will help make the culture and environment within our rodeo program better. Yeah. We have an amazing group right now, and we want to protect that and make sure we bring in people with the right mentality and mindset that can keep up with the ones that we have.
We're talking with Beau Clark, new head coach for the University of Wyoming Rodeo program. Kind of have to join me here on this morning's show. As you've gotten off to a good start, both teams made a big splash by winning that first fall rodeo. Was that something that you kind of wanted to, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, set the tone for your squads right out the gate earlier this fall?
Yeah, with college rodeo, sometimes you don't know what to expect. You don't know what the other schools recruited the year before. You don't know what their teams are always going to look like, and even week to week, there's so many variables that go into rodeo. Sometimes it's out of your hands how things work out. So our mindset and our goal every week is that the students are well prepared and that they execute at a high level, and we just try to encourage them to do their job. And if we score some points, that's great. But the focus is just to do our job. So.
All right. As far as scoring those points, both teams right now hold the lead in the regional standings. Have you been surprised, whether it's pleasantly or were you kind of anticipating this type of performance in the first 4 rodeos this fall from your squads?
Well, this fall I thought we were capable of maybe being successful, before the rodeo started. But like I said, we don't know what the other schools have, and there's some really good. The community colleges in Wyoming, their rodeo programs are great. There's a couple of them that are year in, year out nationally competitive, and so we didn't know what to expect. This weekend, obviously, we've had some success in the past, so we're hopeful that our students will go compete at a high level again. But we every day we're just telling the people on the team that we need to execute and do your job, and that needs to be the focus. And if we score some points, let that take care of itself.
Again, we're visiting with Beau Clark, head rodeo coach at the University of Wyoming, kind enough to join me on the program today. Coach, from your perspective, you have to pick certain team members that actually score for your squad, and then see other team members that go out and still might have a successful weekend, but their points don't count towards the team total. How difficult of a process is that for you week in and week out during a season?
Yeah, we've just kind of stayed the same. When they did do good at the first rodeo in the fall, every week it's been like, why would you change it? So
okay.
There is times that, there's so many talented kids on this team that have done well, and there's times you wish you could have put that one on or added a couple more. But no, we just hope the ones that are on the points team just continue to have some success, and we'll see what happens at the end of the year.
Is it a process of maybe where you're thinking a tweak in your lineup? And I mean, I think you've got the top two steer wrestlers, I believe, in the region standings right now, but they haven't been guys that have been, quote unquote, scoring points for you. It's been some of the other ropers and guys that compete in some other events. Yeah,
both the Greer boys, Gage and Kate Greer, have done a great job this fall, and it's hard not to put them on the points team because we know how successful they are. But we have other guys that they work 3 events, and so the Greer boys, both their main deal is steer wrestling,
right?
And it's they're kind of one event cowboys, where someone like Caden Camp ropes calves and team ropes and steer wrestles, so he's got kind of 3 chances, and there's been times we'd want to put the Greer boys on, but it's been working out so far. Yeah,
a little bit of pick your poison, I guess, at certain points in times, I guess, throughout the season. Again, we're visiting with Beau Clark, University of Wyoming, head rodeo coach here this morning. Speaking of your team ropers, boy, fantastic results so far. How pleased have you been with, and many, basically the ropers in general, with what they've done this fall on the men's side?
Yeah, no, and I walked into a team that had a lot of student athletes who could really rope, and so we did expect them to compete at a high level, and we expect them to continue to compete at a high level. So it's fun to watch the team roping if you're a Wyoming Cowboy this year, because our men and women, they rope so good, and they're so seasoned. They've competed a lot, even outside of college, and week in and week out, they just keep doing their job. So it's fun to see.
Talk a little bit about the duo. I mean, Denton Shaw and his partner have had plenty of success, but J.C. Flake, and you talked about that young man, Caden Camp, earlier, who can rope in 3 different events. Talk about J.C. and Caden, just what you've seen in the last couple of rodeos that maybe is kind of clicking for them right now.
Well, and they really started out in Chattering. J.C. missed his dallies. Caden roped the steer, and J.C. roped 2 feet and missed his dally to probably win that rodeo, win the first round of that rodeo too. Then we go to Sheridan, and they didn't draw the best steer. It's one of those deals that's out of your control, and had some tough luck. And then since then, they've just roped really smart, and it's been fun to be around them because each of their last 4 runs, they're not necessarily trying to win first. They're just trying to do their job, but they both have worked so much at the team roping from a young age that they can do their job at a really high level. And it's just been fun to watch. It's very controlled and deliberate, and they do really good, and they'll continue to do good throughout the whole year. So
Jay Stott is another young man out of Colorado that has scored some good points for you this fall. What have you seen from him, both team roping and calf roping so far this fall?
Yeah, Jay Stout and Dusty Taylor team rope together, and they've had a little bit of rough luck with some drawn, maybe not the best steers, and at times we've talked about they need to kind of own their craft and not do too much at the rodeo, just do their job. But calf roping, Jace he's almost in a league of his own with this region. He has worked so hard at the calf roping, and he's another one that when he competes, it's very controlled and deliberate, and not always trying to win first, but really focused on doing his job. And it's been fun to watch because it doesn't matter so much what calf Jace draws or what he has. He can execute at such a high level that he just goes out and goes through his steps throughout the run, and it's been good for him so far, and it'll just keep getting better because he'll keep working at it. And yeah, hopefully he has a good weekend as well.
Yeah, you guys are going to Cheyenne, back to your stomping grounds, and we'll get to that in just a moment. For your men's squad, you got about roughly 550-point lead right now in the region standings. You mentioned week to week, you just never know what you're going to get. So how do you maintain, trying to compete at such a high level and score as well as you can, and with that kind of pressure on you week in and week out as a collegiate competitor? What do you talk with your kids about?
Well, just coaching each week, we try to explain to them how hard it is to win when you're completely results-oriented and you're just focused on the points and winning. I think that adds a lot of pressure as a competitor when that's your main focus. Versus we talk to them a lot about being task-oriented and self-referenced and making the priority of just doing your job bigger than the priority of scoring points. And the truth is, if our student athletes, men and women, if they go out and do the fundamentals of their sport well, they have a better chance of being successful than if we get too wrapped up in the points and winning, and that anxiety makes it hard to compete, and then we're just not really ourselves. So we try to really kind of push the issue for our students to just do their job, go compete and do the best they can, and if they score points, great. But those things are out of our control. We want to control what we can control.
Certainly understand that. Let's talk about the Cowgirls. I don't want to give them any sort of shaft or anything. They've had a great fall. I know maybe struggled a little bit more in a couple rodeos, but they got off to a great start. Talk about what you're seeing from the Cowgirl squad. Rachel Calvo, Tisha Caulfield, Kelsey Linsegrave, Justine Hersig have kind of been your main scorers, but what are you seeing from the University of Wyoming women rodeo team so far?
Yeah, they've, we're not kind of flowing as well as maybe the men's team is. We're a little bit more ups and downs. Tisha Caulfield has been, the first three rodeos was great with her in the breakaway roping and did score a lot of points for us. Rachel Calvo has won first at a couple weekends to win the barrel race. That's really hard to do in this region. And Kelsey Lensgrave has been really steady. She's been knocking on the door every week of scoring multiple points scoring points in multiple events. We've been really close, and that girl is working extremely hard in practice. And then Justine has had a little tough luck with that's how rodeo can go. It can be sometimes you can do your job well and still not have the success you want to have. So I think when it really comes together for those women in all their events at one rodeo, they'll have a chance to score a lot and just be a really good group. But we're hanging in there and haven't quite put it together yet at the rodeos like I know we're capable. So one side is that's exciting that we can do better and we're still hanging in there.
And that's actually a young squad. I mean, you got a couple sophomores and a couple juniors in that women's squad, and some unfamiliar with Tisha. Is she a junior college transfer, coach?
Well, Tisha's a neat one for us because she actually got her bachelor's degree in 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're really proud of Tisha. She's a great student. She's working on her master's degree.
Wow.
But when we had the opportunity to come here to the University of Wyoming, I think Tisha knew that there would be some changes in how we practice, and she'd have a great opportunity to practice and be around these girls that are so talented. And so she took some extra summer school classes, got her bachelor's degree so that she could transfer without any penalties, and has been working on her master's degree.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Well, kudos to your squad for getting it done in the classroom. Tell me, when you are at practice, Coach, what do you work on? What's kind of the conversation, the talk with rodeo student athletes in terms of what you try and get done in a practice setting to get you ready for a weekend's rodeo?
I think with our people, we have extremely high standards. The men and women are pushed and held to a really high standard in practice, that there's a right way to do things or a better way to do things. And so, for example, with our girls, it's not just good enough to catch calves. We talk about how they rope calves and the way, attention to detail, how their loop goes on the calf's neck or how they ride their horse. And same in the goat tying or steer wrestling. We're always trying to expect their very best and work at the skills that it takes to be able to deliver that kind of performance at the rodeo. And the other thing I'd say we talk a lot about is just the mental side and where our focus is at. Are we focused on doing our job or what other people think of us, or scoring points, or those things that don't help us do our job? So,
okay.
I mean, it's kind of, it's a lot like any sport. There's skills and fundamentals, and we want to be focused on that every day and trying to improve those. And when we compete, we want our, the mental side to be where it needs to be so we can do our job.
Having a conversation this morning on the program with University of Wyoming Rodeo coach Beau Clark. You guys are getting ready and involved in the Cheyenne KOWB Memorial at LCCC. As I mentioned, your old stomping grounds. What are you kind of anticipating in the rodeo action this weekend over there?
Yeah, I would think things will go good. Across the board this week, we had a great practice. The students, I know they had good workouts this week in the weight room, and practice had been really good. So I'm hopeful that they'll just continue to do what they're doing, and the women's team will maybe do a little better than they've been doing. But there's so many variables in rodeo, and this region is truly one of the toughest regions in the whole country. The Wyoming junior colleges, all those coaches do a great job with their programs. So, it'll be a fun weekend, and hopefully University of Wyoming continues to stay where they are. Well,
and a chance for Justine to go home to kind of her stomping grounds a little bit, it seems like, and see what she can do in the breakaway roping over there in Cheyenne.
Yeah, Justine's had 2 great weeks of practice, and team roping and breakaway roping. So, okay. And she's been doing a really good job in the team roping, but it's a team event, and your partner has to do their job too. They've had a little tough luck on that end. So, we're excited to see how she does, and I know she's prepared. I know she's been working hard at it. Hopefully things can go her way this weekend.
Lastly, before I let you go, after this weekend, you guys hit the quote-unquote winter break. Now, I know that doesn't mean you stop going out and going to different rodeos and the kids are out trying to do what they can, but how tough is that to take a giant break from here in mid-October and then you don't come back till mid-March to not have your team, quote-unquote, competing together? How tough is that in the sport of collegiate rodeo?
Well, we won't really take a break.
Okay.
We will take maybe Monday, Tuesday off and let everybody catch their breath and focus on school. Because these kids have been rodeoing since last March. They went through the college rodeos in the spring, and a lot of our people pro rodeo and amateur rodeo for the entire summer.
Right.
And then it just rolled into college rodeo in the fall. So we'll take a couple days off, and then we'll practice all winter. We'll practice through Thanksgiving, and about that time will be a good spot for them to take horses home when they go home for Thanksgiving and focus on finals the last couple of weeks of school. Mm-hmm. And we'll start right when school starts, the 1st of February, and practice through March. And I think because this region is so competitive, part of our success needs to look like that we get better. And one thing that's been fun to watch this fall is where we're at today. I'm confident that our students are better today than they were in August when they showed up to campus, and we will be better by Thanksgiving than we are today. And if we can be better in March than we are in February, and just as an entire group keep getting better in each event, I think that's something we need to do to continue to be successful in this region.
Coach, with that, I greatly appreciate the extended conversation this morning. Best of luck in Cheyenne this weekend, and we'll check in with you in the spring rodeo and have a good kind of off-season workouts, I guess. But I appreciate the time this morning.
All right, yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for this opportunity, and we really appreciate it.